Welcome to the SAU Report. For today's guest, we have Director of the Honors College, Dr. Belcher.
Dr. Belcher, thank you for being with us today.
It's my pleasure.
What first attracted you to SAU?
And saw to live, and at the same time we'd always dreamed about having horses, and we had done some research on having mules. So we had decided that we would get mules instead of horses, and when I got an interview at SAU and found out it was the SAU Mule Riders, it sort of seemed like fate. So that's how we got here.
Wow. What exactly are some of the classes that you teach?
I teach, I'm a linguist. I teach grammar classes for our English majors. I teach a descriptive linguistics class. I also teach the freshman composition and sophomore literature. And I've taught a Composition 2 class for honors for the last several years.
I understand that you're director of Honors College. How did that get started?
Well, shortly after I came here, although I never really was involved in an honors program myself, I always thought universities were supposed to have honors programs. So I started asking, shortly after I got here, did we have an honors program? And every year I kind of heard the same thing, no we don't, no we don't. And I kept asking. And finally, at some point, I believe it was in December of 2002, Dr. Rankin came to me and asked me if I would be interested in putting together an honors program or being in charge of directing the honors program. So I thought about it for a couple of months, and I thought, since I've been pushing for this the whole time I've been here, I better be willing to do what it takes to get it started. So that's how it started.
What were some of the resources, maybe other colleges, different programs that you looked at to start SAU's Honors College?
There was some work was done prior to my getting involved in the program. I believe it was actually Dr. Don Watt, who was Dean of the College of Liberal and Performing Arts at that time, who really started the program in terms of a basic structure. And I think he spent some time talking with the folks at Henderson State University. UCA, of course, has a well-known honors program in the state. But I've been to conferences. We belong to a national organization, the National Collegiate Honors Council, and I've gone to conferences there. And one of the things that the organization stresses is that the program needs to fit the institution. So it's kind of hard just to copy what someone else has done or what other schools do. So I've tried to follow that advice and make a program that fits the needs of Southern Arkansas University. But we have looked at other programs, and I'll tell you, Honors College directors are very willing and very generous with their time and their resources. Since I belong to this national organization, I've had contact with people all over the country. So if I have a question or a problem, I've got a big resource out there and a lot of people with a lot of experience through that national organization.
Yes, ma'am. And with this, how long has it taken for you to put the plan together to initiate the Honors College?
Let's see. I think our first class was, I believe it was in the fall of 2003. It's either 2002 or 2003 was our first. We had our first graduating class this past spring. So we're really starting our 5th year. It's taken about that long, really, to get courses, both general education courses and courses for students in their major. We've gradually added more courses. Now that we've got the courses in the major, at least a good number started, I'm revisiting the general education program and seeing if we can't kind of beef up our general education offerings.
What are some of the classes offered, general education and otherwise?
We have Composition 1, Composition 2, both the sophomore world literature courses, we have honors sections. We've offered U.S. history, we've offered world history, we have art appreciation honors, we have general psychology for honors. We have a physical sciences course that is specifically for honors college students, and that's our environmental geology. I'm sure I'm leaving something out, but we've got probably 30 or so, but 35, 36. We've got an honors seminar that all honors college students take. So we've got a pretty good selection of offerings, but I would like to strengthen that because the honors college students tell me those are their favorite classes. They really like the designated honors classes.
Yes, sir.
What are some of the requirements that are needed to become an honors student?
We have, for high school students, we have an ACT requirement of 26 composite, but we will also consider students who maybe don't quite reach that level, but have some compelling reason that we should accept them. Students, when they apply, have 2 writing samples, one of which is what they will bring to the honors college, and that's an opportunity for students who might not reach the ACT requirement, but give us a compelling reason why they would contribute to the honors college. We also accept SAU students who have have a GPA of 3.5, and we have accepted a number of our resident students into the program based on their work here at SAU.
What are some of the incentives for being an honors college student?
Well, we think the small class size in those general education courses, the opportunity to work more closely as freshman and sophomore students with faculty members. In a class of 10 or 12 students, you're going to get a lot more of the professor's time. A lot of our faculty in the program try to work off-campus activities into their courses, trips, museum visits. I think Dr. Paulson was hoping to get the students to the Holocaust Museum in Houston for her world history class, for example. Dr. Christensen in psychology likes to take students to various places where they can see, professionals doing various kinds of jobs to give them some idea of what kind of graduate programs they might be interested in. So there's really, in terms of, we have a small stipend that we offer students each semester, but I think the bigger reward is the classes, the close-knit relationship with faculty, the opportunity for out-of-class kind of professional activities, and the chance to live and learn with other students who have similar interests, similar goals, similar work ethic. I think that's probably the biggest reward, really. And then, of course, there are those other things for students who want to go to professional programs, want to go to graduate school. The fact that they've been in the honors college and that they've graduated from the honors college certainly makes them stand out from other applicants for either graduate school professional programs or professional jobs, careers.
Aside from the fact that some of the classes are smaller than most general ed classes, what other things separate the classes that non-honors students would take from?
The classes are really different. One of the misconceptions I think about honors college work is that the teachers simply teach the same class and the students write an extra paper, that somehow it's simply a matter of more work. And we've really been trying to dispel that notion, because I think the classes are much more than that. It's not a matter of more work, it's a matter of a different kind of work. I've been teaching the Honors Composition 2 class, and the reading is more in-depth. There's more reading and more thoughtful discussion of the material, just a deeper, going deeper into the material. Dr. Christensen in her psychology class structures it completely differently. This semester she got a grant from the American Association of Colleges and Universities, to gauge student perceptions of social concerns. So they're actually doing some research about student attitudes. From what the faculty members who are involved in the program tell me, it's just a different class, and they take a different focus. So it's not just a matter of more work, it's a matter of dealing with the material in a much different way.
How do you go about finding the faculty members to teach the different honors classes?
It hasn't been too hard. Once they teach a class, they're hooked. And I have faculty come to me and say, I'd love to teach an honors class. They like the smallness, you know, the small number of students, the engagement of the students, their interest in the material, their ability to think through what they're doing. And I'm teaching the World Lit Honors, World Lit 1 Honors this semester, and we're just doing some different things. They've got different ideas. Instead of just having them do research papers, we're going to put together a newsletter of articles that we're hoping to distribute to World Lit 1 students in the future, just to give them some insight into the literature. So it's really just a different perspective. And the faculty, they love it. I had a faculty member come to me yesterday and ask, you know, can I teach an honors college class? So they really enjoy the classes.
I know you mentioned earlier that the honors students live together. I just know from experience, they all live in Honors Hall. How do you think their being together benefits their academic experience?
Oh, I think it's been great for all of them. I don't believe I've heard one negative comment from students living in the Honors Hall. They get a chance to live with students they go to classes with. They study together. I think it's it's one thing. When I was an undergraduate attending classes, big classes, I didn't always know people I was in class with. And my friends weren't necessarily the people I was in class with. I think the opportunity to have friends, to make friends with the people you're actually studying with, surely has to enhance the university experience. And maybe is a motivator. When you have a chance to, outside of class, talk to your peers, your classmates about what you're doing or projects that you're doing, it just seems to me that would make all of it more engaging and more interesting. For the younger students, it's a chance for them to have contact with older students that they might not otherwise have the chance. Nobody has ever come to me to say, this is a bad experience. They all say it's a good experience. And some of them spend all 4 years there in that honors hall. It's such a positive experience, they stay there. So that tells me that it's really meaningful to the students.
Did you have any say-so as to what type of rooms would be in the honors hall?
I really didn't, but when the hall was built, it was really built with a kind of living, learning community in mind. I have to credit Dr. Allen and her, the housing staff for doing that. They made sure there's a classroom there. There have been lots of classes held in the honors hall. There's a computer lab for the use of the students. So I think it was really put together with the idea that students would be working together and studying together.
I know the Honors College is a fairly new organization here on campus, but what other kinds of things outside of honors classes does the Honors College involve itself in?
We usually have a couple of trips every year. David Wingfield, who works with the Honors College, has been the one who plans trips for us. This fall, they took a trip to Dallas. One of the things they did was, it was just a day trip, Medieval Fest in Dallas, which is a very interesting experience for students. This spring, they're going to take a trip to NASA in Houston for a personal hands-on experience. I believe they'll be able to do things that most visitors to NASA aren't allowed to do. In years past, we've taken trips to Natchez Civil War era sites, the Natchez Trace, which is a interesting historical site. I took a group of students to Little Rock one year. We went to various museums, including the Central High Museum, which I think was the highlight of the trip for the students. So, you know, even in our own backyard, there's a lot of interesting places that we can go to. And we try to give them opportunities to go places that maybe they've never been before and see things they've maybe never had a chance to see before.
Yes, ma'am. Talking about visiting different places and things, do you have many international students that are accepted into the Honors College? And how do you think they or their thoughts and different backgrounds?
We have quite a number of international students. I think that's to the benefit of the program. I think it's good for American students who don't often get that chance. You may have international students in your classes, but you maybe don't have the opportunity to really to develop real relationships like you would in a residence hall setting. I've seen more integration in some sense with the American students and the international students in the honors program. I've seen them working together. And it's been, of course, great for the international students to be able, I've had international students tell me this is the one program on campus where they truly feel like they're part of the SAU community. And I think that's a real plus for the program. Good for American students and good for the international students as well. We have students, I think, from 18 or 20 countries. That's good for everybody.
Earlier, you mentioned that students who are selected to participate in Honors College, that some of them are, the ones who are not in high school, they have to have a certain GPA here at SAU. How do you notify them via like a letter or whatnot to?
Actually, what they do is contact me. I have students come to me and ask me about, are they able to apply as our residential students? And of course the answer is yes. We do have some publications that we put out. We don't really send letters to everybody with a GPA of 3.5, although that's not a bad idea. And they have to maintain a 3.25 to stay in the program. But we've had a number of students come into the program from our resident population and be as, in fact, our first graduate came in through the program that way. Graduated in 3.5 years and was the first to complete the program. So,
well, since the program is so young, this may not have happened yet, but with just accepting students on the SAU campus, have you ever had any graduate students or graduate work done in the honors program?
We haven't, in part because most honors programs at American universities are primarily undergraduate programs. It's primarily that. There are other things for graduate students, other honor organizations. And because our graduate offerings are fairly small right now, we haven't. Now, we have had some non-traditional students be a part of the program. I like the diversity. I think we should have, I think the Honors College should reflect the diversity of the SAU campus. And we're starting to head that direction. But it's primarily an undergraduate program.
So how do you think the non-traditional students, do they fit in with the I guess, regular students on campus?
We had a non-traditional student take that day trip to Dallas. Okay. I don't hear him, one student in particular I'm thinking about, I think he loves the program as much as the kind of traditional age students. And I don't really see SAU students have difficulty with students of varying ages. I just don't see that as being a particular problem. As far as I can tell, they're a part of the program just like everybody else, yeah.
That's excellent. I know you've talked a lot about the different things that the Honors College does together as far as trips and having classes and things like that, but what are some of the ways that they participate in activities on the SAU campus, like homecoming and...
Okay. Well, we do have, I think, 2 or 3 of our Honors College students are members of the President's Ambassadors. We haven't gotten quite as involved in you know, floats. I think one year we had a homecoming float, but to be honest with you, that has to be something directed by the students. If they want to do it, I'll help them do it. But most of what we have done, and it's not saying we won't do different things in the future, but again, because we're young, I've tried to focus on their academic experience so that we can give them the best education that they can possibly have.
Well, we understand that this is a young organization. What are some things that you have planned for the future to help broaden the organization?
Well, that's a good question. In fact, I just visited yesterday with Dr. Rankin, four faculty members from the Honors College Committee, where we were just visiting with him about various things we need to do to get to reach the next level. So that's really kind of an ongoing discussion right now, how to recruit more students, how to increase our offerings, how to make ourselves more visible on campus. So we're at the point where we're starting to take a step forward, and you should be seeing some changes in the near future.
As far as recruiting goes, do you have, I know you mentioned some of the honor students were President's Ambassadors. I know they do a lot of recruiting. But does the Honors College ever do any recruiting as far as the students go, or is that mainly left up to the staff?
Well, of course, the admissions office does a lot of recruiting for us. But we have, in fact, our Honors College Committee discussed this within the last couple of weeks. We are, the faculty on that committee have decided we're going to divide high schools up and contact high schools and see if we can't do some personal recruiting. You know, go send faculty members who are involved in the program to the high schools to talk to students. I went to Magnolia High School, it was in October, with Sarah Jennings from the admissions office, and we took a couple of students with us. I believe they might have been President's Ambassadors, to get their take on the Honors College. I've gotten really positive feedback from that visit to Magnolia High School. So we're hoping to really expand our personal contact in the near future. These are all things we're working on right now.
So it all sounds really fascinating. Do you think that by being more visible in the community or in the different high schools, do you believe that that will help to win students over?
Absolutely. One of the students that went with me to Magnolia High School told a story about how when he got his scholarship letter from SAU, he hid it from his mother because the last thing he wanted to do was to go to SAU. She found the letter, they discussed the possibility, he's in the program, he's going to graduate in May, he's already been accepted into the University of Arkansas Law School. He says if he had it to do over again, he would come here. So if we can get him on campus, we can keep him on campus.
So you have a very good graduation rate.
Absolutely. I think our first class, we will end up graduating at least 60% of that first class. I'm very proud of that.
Yes, ma'am. What do the Honors College students that have graduated, I don't know if you've kept in contact with them, but what do they go on to do? Do they pursue graduate
Yes,
work, or?
We've got, I'm working on writing a letter of recommendation right now for one of our students who wants to go to to Syracuse to graduate school. Let me think. I'm not going to be able to come up with examples, but yes, they've gone off to graduate programs. They've gone off to good jobs. I need to have a better, we need to follow up on some of our graduates, but they're doing very good things. They're being very successful, and I'm very proud of the students themselves. You know, they say, they talk sometimes about the school helping them, but really it's the students who do the work, and it's very gratifying to see them reach their own goals.
Of course. Well, Dr. Belcher, we'd like to thank you for being our guest here on today's show. I'm Hardy Bates.
And I'm Megan Black. Thanks for watching.